We all sometimes wonder who is the richest person in the world. Well, let me tell you, this is someone with a loving family and a supportive community. However, according to Forbes, this is not the case. So who is the richest person? Middle-class billionaires are reshaping the industry in the spirit of unequal distribution. Before we get started, you still have the chance to get $1,000. Just subscribe to this channel, so consider subscribing and let's start. Number 10. Larry Ellison. Next up is Silicon Valley-based Oracle, which has a net worth of $101 billion. Larry Ellison is the CEO and founder of a small technology company called Oracle, which may not have much in common with the household name, but has a net worth of $239 billion. Obviously, the family will be damned. Larry briefly became the richest man alive of the 1990s before earning the coveted title of 7th richest man alive. He is also the highest paid manager in the world at various times, earning as much as $90 million. By multi-billion-dollar standards, Larry Ellison's wealth history is unique. He was born in New York City and adopted as a baby. He spent his youth in a middle-class neighborhood on Chicago's South Shore. After dropping out of 2 universities, he worked in the technology industry, which led him to develop Oracle, a project successful enough to compete with Sybase and Microsoft SQL Server. Today, Ellison lives on his own Hawaiian island of Lanai, which he bought for nearly $300 million. He also held a sizable seat on Tesla's board of directors after purchasing $3 million worth of Tesla stock. Number 9. Steve Ballmer. Last on our list of the incredibly rich is Steve Ballmer, who has a net worth of $106 billion. That's right, number 10 on our list is also an aspiring billionaire. Ballmer is an American businessman, investor, and former CEO of Microsoft. He is also an avid sports fan and, like most, occasionally plays basketball. Eventually, he got tired of berating coaches behind the TV screen, so he did what every sports fan dreams of doing. He bought LA Clippers for a whopping $2 billion in 2014, presumably so he could scream in person. Steve Ballmer became the 10th richest person in the world thanks to his partnership with Microsoft. He held 333,300,000 Microsoft shares and was CEO of Microsoft for about 14 years, which no doubt put a few bucks in his bank account. Long before Steve Ballmer was number 10 on the list, he was a statistically special baby, born in 1956 in Detroit, Michigan. He lived a fairly affluent life in the affluent Farmington Hills area. Steve spends these days with his wife Connie Snyder and their 3 children and probably enjoys playing basketball. Number 8. Warren Buffett. Approaching number 8 on this list is the well-known frugal billionaire with a net worth of $111 billion. Warren Buffett, known as the Oracle of Omaha, is a very successful and prolific investor. He runs Berkshire Hathaway, which owns more than 60 companies, from battery manufacturing to restaurants. If it could make money, Warren Buffett would milk it at all costs. Buffett is known for several things. Appears to be a frugal billionaire who chooses not to buy the fastest sports car or live in the biggest mansion. Instead, spend billions sparingly to acquire businesses and invest in new businesses. Also known for his philanthropic work, Buffett has pledged to give away more than 99% of his wealth and has successfully donated more than $45 billion to date, mostly to the Gates Foundation and its children's foundations, but is still among the top billionaires on the rich list. In 2010, he and Bill Gates launched the Giving Pledge, asking billionaires to donate at least half their wealth to charity. The promise has drawn many, including billionaires like Elon Musk and Larry Ellison. Now, unless Buffett pays less in taxes than his secretary, he'll be spending time in his $652,000 home in Omaha. Number 7. Sergey Brin. Next up, one of the 2 brains behind Google. They say that if you mention them in a video, the algorithm will bless you with twice as many views. Don't be too surprised that the founder of Google is on this list. Finally, you're watching this video on YouTube, a subsidiary of Google, also a subsidiary of Alphabet, which Sergey Brin happens to be a co-founder, former president, shareholder, and board member. In short, of course he's rich. Sergey's resume is long, but not as long as his bank account. Sergey's net worth is $112 billion. It cannot be the creator of our future technological overlord, and its value is less than billions. Outside of Google, Brin also works on a number of other personal projects. For example, he and Larry Page are trying to help solve the world's energy and climate problems, invest in offshore wind energy, and more energy-efficient vehicles. Apparently, like other billionaires, Brin has been pouring money into the multi-billion-dollar space race, investing $4.5 million in space exploration by Virginia Space Tourism. So far, Space Adventures has successfully launched at least 7 tourists into the atmosphere. So is he winning the space race now? Let me know in the comments. Number 6. Mark Zuckerberg. Number 6 on our list doesn't need much introduction. I mean, who doesn't know Mark? And if you don't don't just wait until Meta takes off and your smart fridge starts sounding like your friendly billionaire neighbor. Much of Zuckerberg's fortune comes from his stake in Facebook. I know, shocker. His net worth is $113 billion. Being the founder and CEO of Facebook will do it for you, or should I say, Meta Facebook Inc. has recently undergone quite a rebrand, presumably because everyone has been meaning on them for 10+ years. In 2004, Zuckerberg launched Facebook, originally known as the Facebook. Beginning a long history of weird names, Zuckerberg likes to give things. In addition to being Facebook's CEO, he owns around 400 million shares of the company's stock, giving Mark 58% of the company's total voting rights. Whatever problems you're having with Facebook, it's Mark's fault. Yes, even if you accidentally posted nude photos to Facebook, Mark did it. In the days between congressional hearings, Mark stayed at many of his homes with his wife, Priscilla Chan, and their 2 daughters, and of course chilling in the metaverse. Larry Page. The next entry on this list shouldn't come as a surprise, although I'm a little surprised by the large gap between this Google founder and the last one. Like Sergey Brin, Larry Page is a Googler who co-founded Google in 1998. He was also once the CEO of Alphabet, so there you go. Brandy, YouTube algorithm. Larry Page graduated from Stanford University, where he met his Google co-founder, Sergey Brin, and together they invented Google's PageRank algorithm, helped the site thrive, and eventually helped Larry grow his net worth to $117 billion. Though Larry's net worth doesn't come solely from his ties to Google, he's also a founding investor in space exploration company Planetary Resources, trying to keep up with the multi-billion-dollar space race. He also invested in flying car startup Kitty Hawk and Opener. If you can't conquer space, at least you can conquer the sky. These days, when Larry isn't gathering the latest information on you, he's cruising around in his Tesla X or relaxing on his 193-foot mega yacht. Number 4. Bill Gates. Next, we have someone who hasn't left the list of the 5 richest people in the world for a long time. American business tycoon, software developer, and investor Bill Gates. Let's face it, you know he's going to be on that list. You just want to know where. Gates is and was one of the most popular rich people in the world. It's his name after all, and if your computer crashes again, you'll swear you're statistically more likely to use a Windows computer because Microsoft is an absolutely massive company. Guess who the co-founder and former CEO of this massive company is? That's right, Bill Gates. Gates has a net worth of $129 billion for all of his graceful philanthropy that just keeps growing. Despite stepping down as Microsoft CEO, Gates has refused to retire and pursues many business and philanthropic endeavors. We all know the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, although the name is a little awkward now due to his divorce in 2021. As it turns out, Bill's island vacation idea was to put the average person on your list of things you don't want to be into. Number 3. Bernard Arnault. In third place is the recently short-lived richest person in the world. Bernard Arnault remains the richest man in France, Europe, and fashion. His net worth is $167 billion. Yes, not many talk about my husband Bernard here, even though he has been the richest man in the world for 3 times now. Considering the number of pies this guy has been a part of, I'm a little surprised he doesn't just stay number 1. Overseas, he owns an empire of more than 70 brands, including Louis Vuitton and Sephora. These days, Bernard runs either the family business with his 4 children, Federico, Delphine, Antoine, and Alexander, or his $150 million trio of 450-foot vessels called the Symphony. Relax on the yacht. Number 2. Jeff Bezos. Previously ranked number 1 on the list of the richest people in the world, Bezos has cut several positions in 2021, which unfortunately means Bond villain jokes no longer ring. Bezos has a net worth of $168 billion. It was previously speculated that he would be the next billionaire. 2021 is full of surprises for sure. As the founder, CEO, president, and chairman of Amazon.com, the company has grown rapidly over the past several years. Thank you everyone for the renewed desire to stay home and quarantine, and for some reason. After all, he still owns around 55 million shares in Amazon, one of the largest companies in the United States. All of this despite his 2019 divorce from ex-wife Mackenzie Scott, which may have set him back billions as a settlement reduced his net worth by $114 billion. But for Jeffrey SR, for example, it only takes a few years to recover. He recently launched to the edge of space in a rocket built by Blue Origin. Bezos' own rocket company. These days, when Bezos isn't partying with his new girlfriend, he's competing in the multi-billion-dollar space race. Number 1, Elon Musk. Here, we have the richest people in the world with an insane net worth of $1 trillion. Now I'm just kidding. Musk actually has a net worth of $43 billion. Elon Musk is another very popular rich man. He is a South Africa-born Canadian-American. He is a businessman, inventor, investor, and CEO of SpaceX. With the plethora of cameos he has, he might as well play along. Elon Musk has had quite a successful career in the tech industry, making his first software sales at the age of 12. Musk's first company, called ZIP2 Corporation, was sold for $307 million in cash and $34 million in stock options. He then co-founded X.com, which led to the creation of PayPal, which was sold to eBay for $1.5 billion in shares. In true Elon Musk fashion, he successfully turned SpaceX into a $74 billion company and propelled Tesla to the forefront of expensive electric vehicles. He was on the cover of Time's Person of the Year magazine in 2021. These days, when Musk isn't busy trying to colonize Mars, he's on your TV. He's either being interviewed or being as funny as you'd expect from a tech billionaire. Who is your favorite billionaire on the list? It's Musk, isn't it? Enjoy the next video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for a chance to win $1,000.